But we begin tonight with the latest on a mysterious house explosion that rocked a South Kingstown neighborhood.
Now, the story was first breaking on Eyewitness News this morning. 2 men are injured after a blast that sparked a small fire on Hemlock Road around 6 a.m.
Now, the road is still blocked off as local and federal investigators try to figure out how it happened.
Eyewitness News reporter Susan Campbell is live in South Kingstown now with the South County Mobile Newsroom. Susan?
This afternoon, I spoke with a man who lives nearby. He says the explosion woke him up this morning. He says the explosion actually shook his entire house. The DEA and ATF on scene as investigators try to figure out what caused an explosion at this home in South Kingstown.
About 6, all of a sudden the rescue vehicles and police cars and ambulances and fire trucks were going down the street.
Fire officials tell us 2 men were in the home on Hemlock Road when the explosion happened. They rushed to a neighbor's house for help. We're told the men suffered serious injuries and were taken to the hospital while firefighters put out the fire.
There was a small amount of fire in the rear that was extinguished.
We asked people who live nearby about who may have been in the home.
I walk by here every day. This is part of my walk that I do. And the house that you're talking about or had the explosion is one that's been empty for a really long time. So I was kind of surprised that anything happened there. We assumed that it was empty.
Though you can't see significant damage in this video, fire officials tell us the house appears to have moved off of its foundation. Now, as you can see, the road is still blocked off here, but people who live on this street are being allowed to go to their homes. Again, several agencies are here investigating, including the DEA, ATF, and bomb squad. It's important to note at this point, authorities have not released the names of the people who were hurt in the explosion. They also haven't been able to tell us how they're doing. Tonight, of course, the investigation continues. For now, live in South Kingstown with the Mobile Newsroom, Susan Campbell, Eyewitness News.
We begin tonight with the latest on a mysterious explosion at a house in South Kingstown.
We first told you about this on Eyewitness News this morning, and since then, we've seen several investigative teams on the scene.
And they've been there all day looking into what caused this explosion, and we've been there too. Eyewitness News reporter Susan Campbell has the latest developments live in South Kingstown with the South County Mobile Newsroom.
Within the hour, we learned from one investigator that butane hash oil, or BHO for short, is being looked at as a possible cause of the explosion. But if you take a look behind me down the street, you can see investigators are still here trying to piece all of this together. The 911 call came in around 6 o'clock Friday morning.
We know for sure we had an explosion, and that's all I can comment on.
Fire officials tell us 2 men suffered serious injuries in that explosion here on Hemlock Road.
They went to seek aid once their house was on fire, and neighbors were helping them until the rescue arrived.
Now investigators from several agencies, including the DEA, ATF, and bomb squad, are trying to figure out what caused it.
Of course, that's a little unnerving when you live so close. So we're going to go back now and make sure that everybody is, away from the house for the rest of the afternoon. We'll go to the beach or do whatever we're going to do and just keep away.
Fire officials have reassured people who live nearby that the neighborhood is safe. Now, as you can see, this street is still blocked off at this hour. It's been blocked off all day long, but police are letting people who live on this street back to their homes. It's just public can't get down the street. People who live in this neighborhood also told us that they thought the house in question was empty. So they said they were really surprised that anything happened at that home in the first place. Meanwhile, we also have not learned the names of the 2 people who were taken to the hospital with injuries. Police also have not been able to tell us the extent of their injuries, but we will of course stay on top of this story for you and bring you all of the latest developments as we get them. For now, live in South Kingstown with the Mobile Newsroom, Susan Campbell, Eyewitness News.